That was the map, man. That was, I think, probably one of the first Legacy of the Void maps that really took off. There was a time where it almost became the next Overgrowth, just because it was in the map pool for like a year and a half. But you know
Good
what?
old,
Nobody was complaining.
good old Overgrowth. Very standard map. And speaking of standard, spawning in the, I don't know if this, I haven't watched all of it lately. Spawning in the bottom right position. A Korean Zerg play, going for the extractor trick. I'm behind on the times. I need to do this.
Oof.
Playing for Team Abydos. It is DRG.
And over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top left, we of course have a blue Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. Player who we have been dying to get our eyes on for quite a while here. Currently teamless, to the best of my knowledge, we have NightMare. Here we go. Two former Abydos boys going at each other, or at the very least, two former Team NV boys going at each other before Team NV was forced to, end the forced to kind of end their professional roster. So yeah, a little bit of a. I'm gonna
Team
say it
NV
is.
were forced to NV.
Haha.
NV. Oh my god.
I'll take it.
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know if you meant it, but I'll give you that one. But yes, we've
Yeah.
got. Let me bring my microphone a little bit closer. We've got battle of two kind of players here. Very very good players. I feel like sometimes they fly under the radar a little bit. NightMare's really starting to get up there a bit, and DRG has been around for such a long time. Mechanically, a pretty solid player. Likes his Lingbane. But yeah, we'll have to see what's going. It's a bit of an old blood versus new blood, even though they're both on the same team. You know, DRG, I think he's 32 now. And NightMare is a little bit younger, 24, 23. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
But
around
yeah,
there.
like, we'll have to keep an eye out to see. You know, I'm an older person, so DRG's got my, and I'm a Zerg. He's got my love, but NightMare's always fun to watch. He has some really fun builds.
Yeah, I remember he really started making a name for himself around 2020 and 2021 as the PvP sniper, and he threw out a lot of very unorthodox builds. And as you know, he continued in his career as the game scene continued on, he started expanding that a little bit into PvT and PvZ. So, not a very standard player to say the least. He does like playing macro, but you know, the journey that he takes to get into his macro game is always a little bit different from what everyone else does.
You know, it doesn't matter about the process of getting there, Yaku. You know, as long as you get there in the end, as long as the end result's the same. If the end result is you winning the game,
Yeah.
what am I going to say? But yeah, this is curious. We've got a third adept coming in here, and we've got a void ray coming on the field too. So, three adepts off just one gateway. A little bit interesting. Normally you'll see two when they go to secure the third base. But yeah, we'll just have to see what. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right now, what DRG is going to make of it. If you even saw that probe kind of leave.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice coming out from NightMare, because once you pointed out the triple adepts coming out from NightMare, I was kind of assuming he was gonna go, Void Ray to clear up the Overlords, and then immediately switch into Glaive Adepts afterwards, which takes a little bit longer. But if your control is on point, you can still get it can still be very effective. But no, instead he opts for building an Oracle after that, and a Twilight Council after that as well. He's actually stopped a depth reduction for the time being. So, we were mentioning NightMare having being a little bit of a curiosity, having slightly different builds than everyone else, and hopefully we will get to that end. He will get to that end result, which is him winning.
Yeah, he's kind of blowing the circle all over the place. Oracle coming in and getting a couple of kills as well. This Void Ray applying pressure on the third base. The Adepts coming in too. Does lose the Oracle, however. Fortunately, he does have this Void Ray still alive. I'd say if he lost that, that could be a bit of a scary point, and Zerg could do some sort of kind of aggression. But we do have 3 more Adepts out in the field to kind of push these Zerglings away, and as you know, Robo coming in too, Flavor Adepts. So I expect a bit of a mid-game kind of push here coming from our Protoss player, Yaku.
Yeah, I like that NightMare is keeping even us on our toes a little bit here. It's making us question things a little bit. I thought that he was going to go into Glaive Depths a little earlier, and when I saw the Oracle, I thought he abandoned it, but no, he is still going for it over here. No reason not to, I suppose. He already did as much damage as I think he could have with his Oracle. He did some brilliant damage as well. Really good starter stepping, was able to get those 9 drones for the cost of that 1 Oracle. I would say worth it.
Yeah, the 9 drones for an Oracle, and the Adepts, you know, is early on losing some units, which isn't great, but those Adepts were made to kill drones. This Void Ray needs to be a little bit more careful, but here we see a lot of Adepts coming across the map now. And let me just say, when you lose 10 workers and you're up 6 workers and the opponent's doing an attack, it's a little bit scary to say the least.
Yeah, especially with NightMare just being completely unrelenting right now. He's even getting the Robo Bay behind all of this, so he is thinking a little bit ahead. You know, if his Adept Force goes down, he's going to want Colossus or Disruptors to start equalizing things. DRG thankfully was able to scout the Adept Force pretty early on coming his way, so yeah, he is able to respond. He is making sure his queens are where they need to be. Good body blocking with his drone placement.
Ooh.
And yeah, Galileo Constitution and Roach is on the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Nightmare's being very, very passive with these Adepts here, but he does get the warp in at the bottom, looking to potentially deny this 4th base. A couple of Adepts coming into the natural as well. This is pretty good moves here for our Protoss player. At first I was thinking he was going to use Disruptors and kind of go for the follow-up attack and keep most of his Adepts alive, but he does trade out a few units there. But when you take out the 4th and make it 3 base versus 3 base, that just makes your attack even stronger, Yaku. Stronger
It
attack.
really does. Insanely strong. Super strong.
Strong.
As one might say.
Strong.
Strong.
I mean,
Power.
not done yet.
Yeah, not done just yet. Nightmare's been doing a really good job of just picking DRG apart throughout the entirety of this game. Throughout the entirety of these openings, really. His Adept movement has been brilliant. He somehow has kept the Void Ray alive throughout all of this, so that's just another thing that DRG has to keep at the back of his mind.
Yeah, and we see he's still being pretty not aggressive, like non-committal, but is still kind of applying pressure. He knows the Zerg player lost their 4th base, forcing out units, and we see there's been no probes made from the next side of Nightmare for quite some time now. He's not thinking about a 4th base. He is going to push here with these Disruptors and Stalkers, and DRG, he's going to have to trade pretty well, get a good engagement here, because he can't lose this 4th base either. If he does, this could be game over for him.
Yeah, that is the one thing he absolutely cannot afford to lose. Disruptor will throw out a Purification Nova. Gets a lot of lings, but not too many of them. Unfortunately for DRG, he didn't have many lings to begin with. So, yeah, these Stalkers are just going to blink on forward. We're at 63 supply for the Protoss and 39 for the Zerg. Writings on the wall. NightMare going to be taking game number 1.
Yeah, well, that was a intricate kind of opener there with the Void Rays, Adepts, and Oracle, and then the follow-up taking out the 4th base. So when you make Adepts, Yaku, you don't generally think of Adept sniping bases, but you saw the opportunity there. DRG droned pretty heavily to kind of compensate for losing those kind of drones early on, and in the end he just did a pretty strong follow-up attack there. So well played to NightMare. I think that was a pretty good game plan, executed pretty well.
Yeah, it just really felt like he was always one step ahead. That DRG was playing very reactively, which, in fairness, is kind of what you have to do as a Zerg player, but NightMare was kind of forcing DRG's reactions, or forcing DRG to react in such a way that he was already prepared for. The big brains are coming out here.
Oh, that's right. And playing against Adept, like Zerg is a reactive race, but against Adepts, you know, you can afford to drone a little less to kind of deal with it, because if you can over defend, but you can't under defend because they just snowball so quickly. So it's just a pretty good kind of game knowledge here by NightMare, and good capitalization on you know, how the early game went. But I digress. We're going into game number 2 on Is it Alcalone? Alcyclone? Alicalone?
I don't believe there's ever been confirmation, so we can just call it.
I'm gonna call
As-
this Abyssal Reef.
Here we go.
Spawning in the top right position of Abyssal Reef, Alcalone. Al Capone, Al Cappuccino. It is playing for Team Abydos, down 1-0, but can he bring it back? The Red Zerg from Korea, DRG.
And spawning over here in the top left. Top? Wait. Well, we'll say top
Turn
because
your
we're in
monitor
Australia
upside
right
down.
now. We're in upside down land. Here we are in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcione, Abyssal Reef, 2 point something version, whatever. We have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He is currently teamless, of course, but has been teammates with his opponents in the past. We have NightMare. Here we go.
We have got Unnatural Natural taken. Check that out.
Yeah.
You're going to see that every day, although you're starting to.
Well, yeah, we're starting to see it a lot more commonly nowadays. I'm not sure if you've seen Chase, but we're starting to see it in ZvT as well.
Yes, I have noticed the SCD blocks coming in. I've experienced it on ladder as well in a couple of games I've played too. But yeah, I feel like this could be a little bit of getting in the head here by NightMare, forcing to take the unnatural third, a bit of bullying with the probe. But I'd say this looks like a pretty stock standard opener here from NightMare. One thing, a little tip to all you Zergies out there, keep in mind where these pylons are placed from the Protoss player, because their tech can only be placed by a pylon. If the second pylon is placed on the wall, for example, that's where the tech's most likely going to go down. I dare say we're going to be seeing the Stargate in the main, right in the corner there too. Yeah, so
Right on the money.
I'm so smart.
The reads.
And DRG should be aware of this again, because that warp gate was delayed a little bit. Unless it's a mind game, which I wouldn't be surprised. Nightmare probably does. But one little thing I will just mention too, as Nightmare goes to check the bases, goal base, Zerg can utilize information that Protoss, if they're going to deny your natural, they're going to put some forward pressure on. So you can either put some pressure on there, or the Adept's going to come from there. But yeah, so easily deflected.
Yeah. This has been. We're usually not very educational on this stream, but here we go. I appreciate you bringing down the pro tips for the audience.
So I had a little phase, Yaku, where whenever I got my base blocked like this, I just made 8 Zerglings and send it across the map.
Yep.
And then the Adept would rock up at the natural. There'd be no drones there because it's made Zerglings, and then you just kill all their probes with the natural. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of poking the bear. I remember facing that myself as a Terran player. I just kept keeping my Reaper by the third base location and denying that third base, and I was like, hey, what are you gonna do? Well, apparently rock up to my base with 20, 30 Lings and 6 Banes.
Yeah, you can't poke the Terran bear anymore, because Cyclones are kind of stop all Roach pressure, I've kind of found, or Roach holdings. Ling Bane's still decent though, but yeah. But again, look at this build we have. We've got 2 Adepts. We have a Void Ray. Where's the Oracle though?
Well, not being produced, as instead, NightMare decided to spend his gas elsewhere.
Oh my god, he's spending it on a circle.
Wait, what's it called? A ball!
Ball. Sphere.
What is a 3D sphere? That's what. Yup, a sphere. That's the name of a 3D circle, not a ball.
Yaku's trigonometry class. Yes, it's a triangle. It's a pyramid. It's a rectangle. It's a prism. It's a ball. But we have the ball is got another ball going around it. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's Void Ray. Tempest. Oh my god.
Do you see what I see? The flying unit that makes balls.
Oh, we got a low Void Ray as well. Gonna back away there. But yeah, it's just balls on top of balls. Do adepts have any balls on them? I don't know.
Well, they shoot balls technically.
True. There's a shade in here, taking out these drones that look like flat balls or circles.
Yeah, a little bit. Like if you took a rugby ball and you squished it.
True. And oh, actually gonna get the main there. Won't get another drone though. Gold base being taken by DRG. Now this is actually if you look on DRG, so he does have a lair, which is good, but the dead space kind of surrounding this gold base, and then ducking between the third and the main base, it's gonna be really hard to dislodge these kind of tempests that are coming out.
Yeah, they absolutely will.
He's
I'm not
got
sure.
3 of them already.
Yep, and the upgrade that is so rarely taken, Tectonic Destabilizers. Thanks, GameHeart, for filling us in. Tectonic Destabilizers, the bonus versus buildings upgrade, is about to finish up. It just finished up right now, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, NightMare definitely has some options on his hands. I'm not sure what DRG scouted earlier on that made him want to grab the Spire, but I will say it's a good thing that DRG got it, and a good thing that it's about to finish up pretty soon, because boy, he is gonna need some corruptors to deal with this.
Yeah, and I feel like with the upgrade, like he's just back off, not waste the queens. He's gonna lose the space anyway. Tommy Gun 206 says they shoot glaives, not balls, which makes sense. The upgrade is called glaives. But there you go. The more you know. Don't trust anything you hear on the internet from me or Yaku. Probably from me, because I'm the one that made the claim. But yeah, this is a really, you know, if NightMare kind of got between the third base and the main, these queens can only cover one position, right?
Yeah, they really can only cover this little area towards the little area in between the bases, so there's definitely a lot of dead air for NightMare to take advantage of. This is so satisfying.
Yeah,
it's like
I feel like I
see
a few Zerg players kind of do this, where they sacrifice their queens, to, you know, when they got corruptors in the way. But you kind of got to realize that they kind of have to, because if they don't let the queens tank the shops, then the third base is going to tank the shot, and then you're down to 2 base versus 3 base with a 4th in the way Zerg, Protoss. So, this queen, it looks like he didn't need to kind of lose them there, but you kind of do, because otherwise you just lose that base. But yeah, it looks like now we've got gases going down to DRG's 4th, corruptors in the counter offensive. How are these Stargates going to be utilized, Yaku? We got Void Rays.
Indeed, we do. Just about the best thing you can get to deal with these corruptors. Even better if you can get Flux Veins on them.
True, Flux Veins is a really good upgrade. It's really scary too when you see how fast they move. But yeah, looks like we've also got a High Templar Archives kind of put down another gateway with some cannons in case these corruptors want to do anything fancy. Archons too. I'm really liking NightMare's position here. This is a pretty good kind of setup here. I'd like him to drone his 4th base though. I mean, probe it, do it.
Yeah, start Maynarding a couple of probes over. He definitely has a little bit of an oversaturation in that main base. I'm getting some very 2020 or possibly 2021 vibes coming out from NightMare here, where you get a Protoss player on 4 bases, just turtle up, and just go straight into Sky Toss.
Yeah. That wasn't so far away, wasn't it? It was like early last year that was the meta. Oh my god. I haven't seen this since last year, Yaku. Oh.
It has a funny way of just coming back every now and then. You know, there'll be one Protoss player who's like, why did we stop turtling up into Sky Toss?
There's a lot of corruptors, oh man. This is the kind of funny thing with Zerg, right? I mean, I'm probably guilty of this too, that like a lot of Zergs complain about Sky Toss, and then you kind of realize that, you know, to counter it, you just make one unit, you know, the corruptor. But it's not that simple. It's not that, until macro kind of gets involved.
You also need one Viper.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
fairness.
But you know, Void Ray's kind of hard counter corruptors, but Zerg just kind of makes them anyway. I don't know what else you're supposed to make. Muters won't really work.
Yeah, way
Maybe
too
that's why,
squishy.
because they're so not. Never mind. Let's just say Corruptors need to be buffed. They need 5 base armor.
Yeah, remember when Corruptors used to have the spell that could basically do what anti-armor missile does right now? Like just negate the armor?
Contaminate spell, yes.
That's what we need from Corruptors back.
We certainly do. Certainly do. And this is some decent creep spread here. It's kind of a delicate situation, without memeing. With Zerg, you've got the units in the ground that can push the Corruptors away, and then the Zerg units kind of have to deal with the ground units, so then they can come in. But we see a bit of a dive coming in here. No Storm. Bane's going to come in. Is he going to go for the probes? Yes, he is. And he should just back out now. That was really, really good trade there by DRG.
Yeah, I was definitely worried for a second here for DRG when it looked like a lot of these Banelings were connecting with Archons, but thankfully he was able to pull back right at the end there and focus on what actually needed to be taken out, which was those probes. DRG now starting to lose a couple of drones himself to the Zealot run-bys. If he's not careful, he's going to lose his base. He actually has nothing that shoots down at the moment, so 2 Zealots are going to be taking out that gold base.
Yeah, and these Archons are very spooky, but here we go. Lings coming in. They do not have any upgrades, unfortunately. Good micro on the Archons to kind of take out these Corruptors. We need to spread these out at the very least, get some Queens to transfuse them. But with these Void Rays popping the what's-the-majiggy, I don't know if DRG can engage her.
Prismatic alignment, that's what it's called. Yeah, it definitely looked like DRG was doing a decent job earlier, isolating the Archons, and in fact, he is going to be able to take out the Archons and start cleaning up the Void Rays as well. I mean, that was a very costly trade for him, but yeah, he cleans up the Sky Army. Unfortunately for him, NightMare's coming in with a whole lot of Zealots, and I don't know about you, Chase, but I don't see any Banelings on the map ready yet.
I see some, but they're not ready. But yeah, you just get all these Corruptors now, and it's good they all survived. It's fantastic. But now you just commit to warping with all your gateways, Zealots and Thinkstalkers, and I think the way this game's kind of looking, I don't know. I think NightMare just keeps warping in, right?
Pretty much. I mean, it's Lingbane Roach at the moment, and as you pointed out, +1 melee only now finished up for DRG. Compared to NightMare, who is on +2 ground weapons. GG is called. NightMare going to be taking 2 very unorthodox games. Wow, not a little bit of an upset coming out here.
Yeah, did not expect that. I do kind of like the fact that NightMare as the Protoss beat the Zerg with like a intense tech switch. It was kind of ironic, yeah. but yeah, no, that was a pretty solid series by NightMare. He played that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It, once again, just really felt like he had a leg up on top of DRG every single step that they were making throughout this series. Game number 1 with that early game harass, and in game number 2 with those Tempests. I've really truly thought that the Corruptors coming out was going to be the end of Skytoss here for NightMare, but NightMare knew when to commit and when to pull back, and use it to really, really great effect.
Yeah, it really is kind of nuanced, isn't it? Because you kind of as a Protoss, when you go Tempest like that, you know you're gonna force out Corruptors. And when you know you're gonna force out Corruptors, I mean you can already start your Void Ray production right after that. So it's not as kind of shut down as hard as you kind of expect. Tempests are shut down pretty hard. They get hard counted. They're good units if you're not prepared for them, but you do get hard counted pretty hard. But yeah, it just provided the kind of platform and springboard for NightMare to go into that mid game and build up that Skytoss army. Archon's very efficient units against Zerg too. But yeah, no, he just executed his game plan fantastically.
Indeed, indeed he did, and we are starting to get ready with our next match, and it looks like we have a next match on our hands. As thankfully we do have priority to the side, we are going to be following Cure and NightMare into the upper match. Wait, unless we're doing the lower match first. Hold on. I might have misread something.